All right, everybody, welcome to Restorative Yoga. Our practice this evening might be just a little bit different. I'm planning on staying in the poses longer than maybe we typically do. So we're going to go with less poses and longer holds is my intention. Make sure you've got a belt, blankets, pillows, blocks if you have them handy. And I'm going to give you some ways to I'm going to give you just lots of variety in how you can prop yourself up or not. Let's see some music. Let's see, where are we at here? I would like some feedback about how this sounds. Sound okay? Good? Thank you. If at any time it doesn't sound good, you're free to unmute yourself and just let me know that as well. We're going to go ahead and start on our backs. Have your strap handy and also your pillow or blanket stack handy as well. Go ahead and lie on your back. Get yourself really comfortable and relaxed, whatever that means for you. That means untying the knot that's in the back of my shirt that looks really cute but is super impractical for a yoga practice. Lying on your back, start connecting with your breath. Long, deep breath in through the nose. And now out through the nose. Breath in. And breath out. Breath in. And breath out. And with every exhale, I want you to make it just a little bit longer. We start to focus more on our out breath. Our exhale is tied to our parasympathetic nervous system. It's the part that helps to calm you down. It's the rest and digest. During our practice this evening, we're trying to touch that space of really allowing your body to soften. So you might start to notice if and where you're holding tension. And consciously breathe into that space. Or you might shift a little bit to relax. From our physical body, we now drift into the emotions, the heart center. Seeing if there's anything that we might be carrying with us. It could be people or different situations in our life, past or present or future. And in this moment, we shift our emotional focal point Be away from anything that we're carrying. To a feeling of openness, softness, acceptance, and letting go. With our thoughts, we invite in the same level of softening, releasing thoughts that do not serve us. In our mental body, we anchor to our breath and then our physical body. For our collective intention this evening, I'm offering you an intention around acceptance. Accepting yourself for where you are at in this moment, and accepting those around you for where they are in this moment as well. If you're wanting to connect with mantra, I accept what is. I accept what is. Last inhale here. Really inviting our intention into our space. And then exhaling it out the mouth. Go ahead and grab your strap. Grab your strap and wrap it around the ball of your left foot. Now for this, you're going to grab the strap, grab both straps with just the left hand, or you could make a loop around the foot and just have one strap. And then your left leg is going to come out to the left. You're finding a space. Remember, we're not going for the deepest stretch here. We're looking for something in the 4-5 range, possibly a 6. So something that you notice but should feel very sustainable. Here's a space where you can maybe grab a pillow or even 2 pillows or a blanket and just kind of stack that underneath your leg. And in that way, it becomes more of a restorative pose where we can soften a little bit more. So if you have those props handy, I definitely recommend grabbing them. Bring your right hand on the top of your right hip. Just help yourself to anchor down. We're keeping your right glutes, the right side of the body all attached down to the mat. Close your eyes if you'd like. Really anchor into sensation, breath, and mantra. During all of our restorative poses, I will verbally cue you into them, give you your options, and then I will allow for silence and space to absorb. Let's take one more breath in. And on your exhale, slowly bend your knee and draw it in towards the chest. And slide the strap off. Let's hug that knee in nice and tight. And then we send the left leg long, shifting our props to the right side of our mat before we grab our strap. And then when you're ready, taking the strap around the ball of the right foot, grabbing the strap, both of the straps in the right hand, and then the right leg opens to the right. Now again, as you settle, we're looking for that 4, 5, maybe 6 in our intensity level. It should be very sustainable to hold physically. Left hand comes on top of the left hip, anchoring yourselves to the floor. If you're noticing a lot of mind wandering, as soon as you realize that you are in a mind wandering, you're traveling either to the past or to the future, I want you to anchor back. Keep anchoring to this breath, this body, this mantra of accepting what is. But in this way, we start to train our mind. The restorative practice is a great space for a mental or meditative practice. Let's take one more breath in. Exhale, slowly bend your knee back in towards your chest. Slide your strap off and hug this knee in. Hold it here. And then gently let that go. And slowly make our way onto either side and then come into a seated position with the legs long. Roll to the side, come into seated for a restorative forward fold. Now with this one, I would recommend grabbing your blanket if you've got it. And also if you're a person who tends to really kind of round or it feels hard to sit up tall in a forward fold, take your pillow, just the edge of it, and bring it underneath the hips, just a little bit. Knees can be soft. You can also put props underneath your knees here as needed. And then you're going to bring your blankets, maybe even more pillows to the top of that. For this fold, you're going to sit up really tall, try to take your rib cage off of your hips, and then drape forward. And I want you to find a space that you're noticing some opening in your posterior chain, which is calves to hamstrings, low back. Your forehead can rest on your pillow or even a block, or you can turn the face to either side. I'll give you a cue when to turn your face if you're choosing that option. Remember, this should feel sustainable. And as you settle into this pose, become aware if there's any engaging, any clenching that doesn't need to happen. We're finding more softness, more acceptance. If you had your face turned to either side, you can go ahead and switch your direction. Let's take one more breath in. And on your exhale, slowly come out. Your transition from pose to pose is just as important as the pose themselves. Go ahead and set your props aside for just a moment. I'm going to shift and bend the knees. In our next restorative pose, we're going to target the side bodies and the hip. So you're going to take your blanket rolled up, kind of in the center of your mat, and depending on how much you want to open the side body, you can add more pillows here or not. So you're going to sit with your hip, doesn't matter which hip, either hip right next to your stack of pillows. You're going to lift up again. You're going to lift up, lift your rib cage off of your hips, and then you're going to roll over, trying to keep that length in your spine, letting the left arm go long. And you can even grab another pillow or something here. The right arm is going to sweep up and over. So what I want you to be finding physically is a feeling of opening all the way from this top hip through the rib cage and into the underarm. With your upper body, your arms, your head, just get yourself as comfortable as you can. You can grab more pillows and kind of prop yourself up there. Any place there's a gap between you and the floor. You could also take your left hand or your bottom hand and grab the top wrist, or vice versa, to help kind of get in there more. returning to your breath. We consciously breathe into that top side body, rib cage area. And also softening anything that does not need to be held. So in the legs and the bottom, hip and glute. Notice if there's any sensation of bracing. Allow yourselves to fully relax. Last breath in. And on your exhale, slowly return back to a seated position. Now to switch sides, it's easiest just to keep your blankets and your pillows right in place, and you're just gonna flip and go right onto the opposite side, sitting the hips next to your blanket and your pillows. When you inhale, lift your rib cage off of your hips, and then go forward over this mound of pillows coming down and taking the top arm and drifting it over. Keep in mind that physical focal point is the rib cage to the hip, so you can kind of think about drawing the bottom hip and the bottom shoulder a little closer together if you're looking for any more intensity. Last breath in. Exhale, slowly release. Taking your time to come out. We're just going to shift our blanket and our pillow and go the long end, the long way on your mat, setting up for goddess or fish pose. So depending on how much of a chest opener you want, you can have your blanket like this. You can add more blankets, or you can have just one extra pillow at the top for your head. If you do have blocks and you know that you want to open the legs, I would have them handy as well. I'll show you how to use them. So for this chest opener, you have your blankets, your pillows, bringing your butt kind of right to the back of that. And you're slowly gonna roll down, adjust your pillow. Choices for the lower body are to have the legs just go nice and long. That's one choice. Another choice is to bring the soles of the feet together and then butterfly the legs. I would recommend, if you have blocks, to bring them to the outsides of the thighs. Blocks in this pose just going to help put on the brakes so you don't go into the deepest possible stretch in your joints. So you can choose to have the feet together. You can choose to have the legs go long. You could even cross the ankles if you thought that that felt good for your body. And then the arms go out to the sides. Palms are up. And we're breathing into the chest. As you inhale, and then on your exhale, really soften the belly. And we keep coming back to our breath, to physical sensation that we're just noticing. So being aware of any feelings, memories, thoughts that also arise. When that happens, we notice them, we give them our attention, and then we allow them to float on. last inhale here. And on your exhale, slowly draw the knees back together. If you had them butterflied, come into fetal child's pose. Rolling on the right or the left side. For our very last restorative pose, I'm going to give you a choice of either traditional Shavasana or legs up the wall. So legs up the wall is just how it sounds, taking your legs up the wall. And if you don't have a wall handy, you can grab a chair, or you can take all these props and kind of make your own little chair. So if you have your props, I would go blankets, and then maybe blocks and pillows. And then I'm going to put my legs right up here. So if you have a wall handy, you can go legs up the wall, bring in your butt as close to the wall as you can get. Grab a chair or make your own little kind of shelf and then put your legs up there. Go up even more. With whatever you're choosing, I want you to get your butt as close to the chair, to the wall as you can get it. Continue to have the arms outstretched. The legs up the wall or legs on the chair with the knees bent like this. Nice for releasing the low back. Settling into this last posture. You really allow the exhales to grow longer with every breath cycle. yoga friends. If you are really enjoying this last pose, feel free to stay here as long as you would like. I'm going to slowly transition us back to seated, but I want you to stay if that feels needed in your body today. If you are moving on, either from legs up the wall or legs up the chair or traditional Shavasana, slowly make your way onto either side. In fetal child's pose. Take a moment here, transition and pause. Also deciding if you would like to keep inviting this intention of accepting what is. Or maybe it feels like this intention is done and it's time to let it go. Last breath in and exhale to find a seated position. We'll end our practice together by bringing the hands together at heart center. Maybe closing the eyes for this last moment. Thank you so much for practicing with me this evening. Namaste.